this is not good. Something's in here. And then all of a sudden I heard a knock, and I heard it again. And then it happened again. I grabbed the holy water and I started splashing it all over my room. It would move and knock again. And I said out loud, I said, I don't know what you are, but you are not welcome and you have got to go. So I've done bad things. I've brought something into this house. I'm like, but you got to go.
This is Touched by Heaven. Everyday encounters with God. Those moments when heaven and earth collide. We see God. We see this collision of heaven and earth. These flare gun moments for God as he speaks to us in these conversations through encounters with angels, divine intervention, prophetic dreams, visions, near-death experiences. I am your host, Trapper Jack.
Oh my God, is this really happening? This is insane.
Yes, it's really happening. This is Ashley. You're going to love Ashley. Another great story from Australia. So many wonderful stories come from down under to up here over. What's the story about? This is the ongoing story of seeing something that looks brighter and shinier. Yeah, that's God over there.
Of course, I'm intrigued. I was like, oh, please tell me more.
I know. I've been there too, Ashley. It looks so good over there. It looks so good. I love the song that bubbled up in my head seemingly out of nowhere this week. And it did take me a couple of days to figure out, why am I getting this old Harry Nilsson song that's called I Guess the Lord Must Be in New York City.
I'll say goodbye to all my sorrow, and by tomorrow I'll be on my way.
I guess the Lord must be in New York City. What is this about? You know, bright, shiny New York City. Listen to the rest of these lyrics here. I'm so tired of getting nowhere, seeing my prayers going unanswered. I guess the Lord must be in New York City. Well, here I am, Lord, knocking at your back door. Back door? Ain't it wonderful to be where I've always wanted to be? For the first time, I'll breathe free. Here in New York City, I have found it. And Ashley thought she had found it. She was on the right path to something not quite so boring as our God.
I look back now and I go, oh God, what was I doing?
And you are, where are you in Australia?
Sydney.
So you're in Sydney? Everyone sounds beautiful. It's great. Everyone down there sounds beautiful. Just this lovely lilting accent, you know? And people call me Trapper. It's Trapper. It's Trapper. You know.
What? Well, we've lived in many places within Australia. We lived in Denver, Colorado, lived in Africa. We've been all over.
And as far as your growing up, tell me about your faith journey here.
Very well, similar to yours. Come from a big family, born and raised Catholic, and I've always known God. I know all the prayers, you know, all the memorized prayers and all that stuff. So he's always been in my life. And I love that. And I knew that when I became a mum and when I had my own family, I also wanted my children, you know, to know Jesus, to know God, to know their Savior. And then as you do, you hit your late teens, early 20s, and you just go, oh, this is boring when you walk into church and I don't understand what's going on. Coincidentally, at that time, a friend of mine said, oh, why don't you come to my church? And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was in the Pentecostal church for quite some time, but it always felt like something was missing. Then I guess would bring me to the reason why I contacted you.
Okay.
And wanted to share a bit more of what's been happening. And so then maybe 2023, okay, that's where the story really starts to get juicy. It felt like there was something missing in my life, like really missing. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was. Then it started to feel like, so these are internal feelings that I'm having within myself. I'm not really talking to anyone about it, but I'm sort of trying to figure out what it is on my own. And then it sort of evolved to a feeling of like something was pulling me or calling me. I guess that's the best way that I could really describe it. So that's what it started to feel like, almost like a pull or a call. And I'm not understanding what it is or where to even begin looking. I was asked, describe it. If you could describe it as anything in the world or anything that you've seen or could think of, what does that feeling look like? So in my mind's eye, how I sort of visualized was, you know, the top of a tornado, how it forms like that big, like almost like a whirlwind, that big circle. That's how I would describe the feeling. So it felt like, yeah, it sounds really bizarre, but that's how it felt like. That's what in my mind's eye, that's sort of how I could see it. Almost like a tornado with like that vortex, that big pull. And then the fact that I could almost visualize it started to scare me. And I thought, well, what is this? It then, once I was able to sort of place it like that, that's what it was, this is what it looks like, this is what it feels like, it then felt like almost everyone around me started to talk about new age, new agey stuff. And I thought, oh, okay. I thought maybe new age has my answer to what this is. Like, could this be a call from the other side? I don't know.
Just to pause this for a second with Ashley, because a couple of things are hitting me in the head right now, and two things are happening. One is I've talked before about how we sell such a boring God, broccoli, as we've come to know it. Come to church, come to mass. It's good for you, like broccoli. But we don't sell the whole picture of who God is, what he is, the awesomeness, the power, the beauty, the love, all of it. We get sometimes Clark Kent instead of Superman God, But there's also something else. There's just something in our human nature. There has to be, because get this. If you go back into the Old Testament, Exodus, and you see Moses and the Israelites. Now, the Israelites, they've just watched God give the Egyptians 10 plagues. You give the Pharaoh and the Egyptians 10 plagues. Their clothes still have a little dampness to them from the mist that came off the Red Sea being parted, and they can't wait to make a golden calf. It's like, what? The bright, shiny object. Here it is. So there's something in our nature, too, just to always be looking around, seeking something greater, something better. But when you're totally ignoring and walking away from, as God watches us, he watches, he waits until we come back.
There was a co-worker of mine at the time that started talking about astral projection, I think it is.
Yeah.
So all that new agey astral projection. And how she does that. And there was a woman that she contacted. I can't remember where she said they were or what their title is. There's a lady that I contact. You email her and she does like a reading for you, right? And what she does, she taps into your energy, and she can read like what's around you. She can do a cleanse. And then once she does a cleanse for you, she goes, once she did it for me, it felt better. I felt so much better. She goes, maybe you should do it. And I sort of thought, sounds a bit weird. I was like, I'm not really into all that stuff. So I left that. And then another acquaintance of mine approached me with something very similar. Hey, there's a festival, like an expo, like a new agey expo. Let's go to that. And, we'll see if maybe there's some answers. So we went to this expo, and at this expo, I was at this book stand, just reading, all these books, this new agey type books and stuff like that. And this lady comes up to me and goes, I'm a medium, and I've just picked up something on you. Of course, I'm intrigued. I was like, oh, please tell me more. What's wrong? Like, what, have I done something? Oh, no, I'm picking up da-da-da. And she starts to tell me what she's reading. And then she goes, they're also telling me that, you need to delve deeper into whatever's happening around you right now. And this book and these cards will help you. I was like, oh, okay. I fell for it. I bought them all. Anyway. So I take all that stuff home, and then I'm starting to read, not knowing anything about what I'm doing. And I'm reading, and I'm, looking at these cards. So they were like tarot cards and angel cards. So it felt innocent to me because they were angel cards, and angels are good, right? Angels are from heaven. So
I know.
Okay.
What could be wrong with angel cards, right?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, well, this can't be anything bad, right? Like, they're angel cards. So it's obviously, and there were lots of bright, pretty colors. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is definitely okay, cool. So I did that. And then that piqued more of my curiosity. So I went on to good old Amazon, and I got more stuff. And they were just books. I was just I tell the story and I feel a bit, I start to sweat. I get nervous because I'm thinking, I look back now and I go, oh God, what was I doing? But I was just reading it. Yeah. I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. And it's interesting.
Reading.
It's very seductive. It's
is it
when you can feel the spirituals, you don't even care much about where it's coming from. It's just, there's something going on here. And isn't that cool? It's very seductive. It's very seductive.
Oh, I was so swept away. And it just felt, I'm just reading, like knowledge is power. I'm not doing anything. I'm just reading it. But can I tell you, from the minute I brought that stuff in my house, things started to feel weird. And out just beyond me, like just in the home. And it wasn't until, spoiler alert, I took all the stuff out of my house, did I realize just how bad the house was feeling. It's insane. So anyways, I buy these books and I'm just reading them. And here's another telltale sign. I had to hide them from my husband. Big, like, what, if it's that bad, if it's not that bad, why am I hiding this stuff from my husband? Hello.
Right. Is he
Anyways,
noticing that things aren't quite right as well, by the way?
No,
Okay.
no. But the energy between him and I was a bit off.
Yeah.
Like we just were not communicating well. Things just it felt like a bit of friction, but I didn't understand where it was coming from. It's going, I'm putting my daughter to bed, my husband goes to bed, and then I'm running back downstairs and I'm pulling out all these cards and I'm, doing all of this, just reading and just trying to figure out how it all works. And, if I pull a card, what does that mean? And all that stuff. Then one particular day, getting my daughter ready for school, I'm getting ready for work, right? Doing all our stuff. And she was quite young at the time. And she has, how kids have got those bath toys and the foam letters, the foam bath letters that you could like stick to the bathtub. And she was too young to form words like write, like this is it, or this is ant. She was too young for all that. So the night before I had bathed her, drained the bath, left everything in there. I put her to bed, everything, getting ready the next morning, and I'm standing in the bathroom brushing my hair. And for some reason, I just have a feeling to look in the bathtub, not do anything, just look in the bathtub. And Trapper, the letters had spelt my name. And I thought, I didn't do that. She's too young to even know what the letter C is.
You didn't leave it that way.
Did not leave it that way. And my husband has not been in this space at all. And I thought, is someone or something trying to contact me? I thought, odd. Okay, I left it alone. I thought that was really bizarre. I took a photo of it because I'm just like, that. No one will believe me if I tell them this. So I took a photo of it. It just felt like everywhere I went, like this stuff was almost coming to me. Whereas there's never in my life previously has anyone really talked about new age stuff or it really encouraged me to go see a medium. So then it almost felt like maybe I'm on the right track. The fact that everyone I'm talking to, these things are coming to me, like it's being drawn to me, like it's just naturally coming up in conversation. So I tried to contact that lady. I did manage to speak to this person. And I said to them, this person goes, oh, well, I also do, I'm getting a feeling and I can see that you're going to come to me to do another ritual. I don't know. They explained what it was. I don't know. It will really help you. I can see that that's going to happen, but if you may not be ready for it right now, but I can see that it's happening. So that seed was planted. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I do need this cleansing. This is the second person again that's talking about a cleansing that I may need. And they're like, and I said, I'm not really into witchcraft. I'm sorry. I'm a Catholic and, God says no to all that stuff. And I'm a firm believer in that. Oh, no. It's not witchcraft. It's not anything of the devil. My guides come from a higher place, not from darkness. I was like, oh, okay. It didn't make sense to me. All I'm thinking of, there's heaven or there's hell? There's good or there's bad? What do you mean there's a variant in the middle that's okay? I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So I was like, it just felt weird. All this stuff keeps happening. All these people keep sort of coming to me with these things, these mediums or these new agey stuff. And I've bought books. I've bought the cards. They look like dominoes. I can't remember what they're called, but they look like dominoes, right? I've got all that. I've got the books and I feel like, okay, this will help me figure it all out. I've seen the letters in the bathtub, which I felt like something was speaking to me. But then from that point, every time I went to bed, it felt like someone was standing at the end of my bed watching me sleep. And I'd be like, this is so weird. And I'll turn the light on. No, turn it off. No one's there.
Comfortable,
I couldn't see
uncomfortable,
anybody.
what would you call it?
Uncomfortable. They were standing and watching me. Like it felt just as if someone's standing over you. Like it just felt uncomfortable. I started holy water. I still had my holy water. I was still praying, I said my prayers and I would sprinkle, and I would go to bed. That's the only time I would fall asleep. Probably a few weeks after that, my daughter started waking up in the middle of the night, screaming, what's wrong? Mommy, there's a monster in my room. I'm like, what do you mean there's a monster in your room? Okay, so, I didn't want to feed too much into that, but of course I didn't want to ignore it. I'll get holy water and I would sprinkle in her room.
How old
I said,
was she?
Let's say a prayer. 3 and a half. And we don't watch like scary movies or, anything with monsters in it. So I'm thinking, where is she getting this monster from?
So you
Anyway,
start sprinkling the holy
so
water in there too?
sprinkling the holy water in her room and praying. I got her, I don't know if I had gotten her a rosary at that point. No, I think she always had a rosary in her room. But at one point we had taken it down. I don't remember why. I think because it was every time she would move the door, it would like clink and it would wake her up. Anyway, I don't remember why, but I put it back up. And I started putting like the ones you get from church, the prayer cards. So they've either got like Jesus on it or Mary or the Holy Family. So I put those prayer cards like around her room. And it sort of eased a little bit. It went on for a little while longer. So I spoke to one of those people I'd confided in, and they're like, get some sage, sage the house, sage, 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 open up the windows and tell it to go. I was like, okay. So I started doing all of that. It felt a bit weird. I was like, that's fine. I did all that. Holy water was the only thing that really seemed to settle her. And I was like, okay. At that point, I was feeling so lost. I started to feel like a void, like I was losing myself. Because I felt like I couldn't figure out all this stuff that was happening with me, that I started drinking a lot. It was only after everyone had gone to bed, but I was drinking, and I was losing myself, and I could feel that I was losing myself. So made me feel worse. So I drank more, and it was just really bad. I hated the feeling. Like it just felt like something that was weighing on me, not just that feeling in my, belly of that tornado-ish feeling. Like it felt like something was now weighing on me. Anyway, so this was life for probably about a couple of months. It just kept going on. She was still waking up saying she was having a nightmare. But then it got to a point where I would even turn off the light for her to go to bed. Mom, you forgot holy water. And then she started saying, can I drink some? I was like, absolutely, you can drink some. I'm like, I haven't seen anything that says you can't drink holy water. It's blessed water, of course. So I'd give her a little bit to drink. I would sprinkle it in her room, would say a prayer and go to bed. It got worse where one evening I went to put her to bed and she wanted to say a prayer. I was like, of course, so would say a prayer. Trapper, I forgot all the words. When I say all the words, I couldn't say the Hail Mary. I couldn't say the Our Father, none of it. So I'm still reading these books, trying to, build my
but
knowledge.
You could not remember how to say prayers.
And that's when it started to feel really bad. At that point, that day was the marker of it felt really, really bad. The heaviness in the house started to feel really, really bad. That feeling of someone watching me, it almost felt like it had multiplied. Like there was more than just one person now. I could not, and that's what scared me. I wasn't scared before then, but when I knelt down beside my daughter's bed, she's 3.5 years old. She's saying, Mommy, let's say a prayer. And I can't even say Our Father. I thought, this is not good. Something's in here. And I just knew it. I knew it. I didn't know what it was, but I thought something is now occupied this space. So I grabbed a rosary. Oh, I couldn't find the rosary. I wanted to grab the rosary. I couldn't find it. I could not find a rosary. I had multiple in the house. When I was looking for them, Trapper, I couldn't find them anywhere. And I looked. I was pulling things out of cupboards, emptying cupboards. I could not find it anywhere. And I'm like, I think I've brought something in my home. I don't know what it is. And I was really scared. And I thought, okay, I really need your help here. So anyways, I turned off all the lights and I was like, all right, let me just try and get to bed. And then all of a sudden I heard a knock. I thought, what was that? And I heard it again. I thought, oh. And then it happened again. I thought, oh, this is weird.
I'm hearing a knock as you do it. Are you doing that?
No, I'm doing that just to sort of simulate.
Thank you. I'm glad you're doing it.
No, you're not going mad. No, that's me doing it.
Okay.
That's just how it was, though. It was just one single knock. And then once I sort of, I would say, acknowledged it, I felt like this. It was almost like a dark cloak just like set in over me. I thought, oh, shoot. And then I was like, I need to bless the room. I got up. I turned the lights on. Right. And normally if I turn the lights on, my husband roll over and go, what are you doing now? He did not flinch, not a flinch. And I thought, okay, well, he's still sleeping. I grabbed the holy water and I started splashing it all over my room. I would splash it because it sounded like it was above me, like the knock, no, above me and then to like the side wall. as I would sort of sprinkle the holy water or splash it where I heard it, it would move and knock again. So I would go to that space, sprinkle holy water, splat, it would move and knock again. And I thought, okay. And I don't know what bravery came upon me that evening. And I thought, okay, so you're responding to me. So you are there. And I said out loud, I said, I don't know what you are, but you are not welcome and you have got to go. And I grabbed the holy water and I kept going. This went on for probably about 4 minutes. It's knocking, I'm splashing. It's knocking, I'm splashing. And I'm trying to remember because I still can't remember the prayers. And I'm still trying to remember these prayers. It's knocking, I'm splashing. And it just kept going. And I said, I'm not playing with you. And I'm like, I am a child of God. So I've done bad things. I've brought something into this house. I'm like, but you got to go. This is me talking randomly just to the room. I'm like, you got to go. I'm like, no more. This is enough. You got to go. And it kept going. And then it finally stopped. And I was like, okay. And then I just said, God, I'm sorry. I'm like, I've done something. I don't know why. I said, it didn't feel bad. It didn't feel sinister. I'm so terribly sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry. I did this. I'm owning up to it. I did this. And I said, please, I said, for my family, I said, for my home, for my daughter, I'd let her have a peaceful night's sleep. I want to have a peaceful night's sleep. Whatever this is, please just take it away. Please take this away. And then it just sort of felt quiet. It didn't feel as heavy. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go to bed now. Turned it all off. And I said, Jesus, please, just I don't know what this is. I said, I don't even want to know at this point. Just please get rid of it. Let it go. Let it go away. I'm sorry. I said, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back. And I just lifted that. And then I went to sleep. And then I knew I needed to get rid of everything. And I think it wasn't not long after that I may have either found your podcast or I started sort of, it just popped up randomly on YouTube, one of your videos. I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. I'm like, let me see if I can find it on one of these, streaming platforms, the podcast. And then I found it. I started listening to everything. And I think one of the first episodes was the St. Anthony. Someone was telling you a story about St. Anthony. And then you were talking about the miraculous medal. And I felt so strongly I needed one. I know I have one in my house. Now let's find it. I searched high and low, could not find one anywhere. And I thought, nope, I knew it. I just had a really strong feeling. I know I have one. I know I have one in this house and I will find it. I was so determined. So that same one rosary that I found, I started praying the rosary that day because I think, again, on one of your podcasts, you were like, there's power in the rosary. You should really pray the rosary. So I started praying the rosary. But that miraculous medal, I knew I needed one. So I was in the garage searching through stuff there. I'm like in cupboards. I'm looking, I'm searching everywhere. I've seen one. I think it's in this drawer. Look through that drawer. Nothing there. I closed it. I was so desperate. I started crying. I cried. I've never cried so hard in my life. I cried. And I said, God, please help me find this. Help me find this miraculous medal. I know I've got one somewhere. And then I thought, I haven't asked St. Anthony. I'm like, of course. So I said my St. Anthony remix prayer. And I call it my remix prayer because I know it's not the actual words, but he still hears me. Tony, help a sister out. I'm trying to find a miraculous medal that I know is in this house. Please help me find it. So I turned away from the cupboards that I was looking in. And then in my mind, I heard, look again. And I went, whoa, who was that? I'm like, look again. And I knew it meant look in the sock drawer. I was looking in my sock drawer. Look again. I'm like, I just looked in there. I literally took all of my socks out. It's not in there. And then I heard it again. Look again. Opened up the cupboard. I'm not kidding you. There was a little flyer, and I still have that flyer, a booklet or a flyer with the miraculous medal taped right to the front, sitting on top of the sock drawer that I had just closed and emptied, was right on top.
And sitting there on the top of the socks.
Sitting on top of all the socks, the pile. And I thought, no way. I was looking around as if there was someone else besides my daughter in the room. It was right on top. And I thought, yeah, this is the path I'm meant to be on.
Yeah. That helps build your faith, doesn't it?
Does it ever? I said, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I need. All of that other stuff, nah. this is where I need to be. And I said, I'm so sorry, God. I'm sorry. The guilt then I felt horrible and I started beating myself up. Anyway, I took that miraculous medal and I attached it to the tattered rosary that was falling apart. I carried it with me. I carried it with me. I ended up getting another miraculous medal that I would pin to my shirt and I'd wear that every day. And I prayed the rosary every single day. And it was just, oh my goodness. So that's the beginning of this journey now. So I'm listening to your podcast every day. I'm praying the rosary every day. I'm sprinkling holy water around the house every day. And then I think there was an episode of yours where you started talking about going to confession or just talking about confession. And I felt it really heavy on my heart that I needed to go to confession. And I thought, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be confronting. I thought, okay, all right, we'll do it. It was so heavy. This wasn't a nudge. This was a heaviness that God put on me. Heavy, so heavy. I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to do it. And I felt like I had to confirm to God, yes, I hear you. I feel this weight on my heart. I'm going to confession. I will do it. Please, I'm on this journey. I've done bad things. I don't feel worthy. And I've always said that I do not feel worthy of even coming back to Christ. I don't. I feel like I've done a lot of bad things. Again, it just came from a place of I didn't even feel worthy of being forgiven. I didn't.
It was around this time that Ashley was also experiencing some dreams, one of which involved Mary, Blessed Mother Mary, in a statue. And Mary in the statue was depicted in a way that she had never seen before. I just kind of put that to the side for a second because we're going to get back to that, but need to go to confession first.
So I walk into the confessional, I close the door, and I said to the priest, I'm really sorry. It's been a while. I forgot how this works. And he sort of chuckled. I was like, no, really. It's been a while. I don't even know the last time I've really been to a Catholic church to make confession. It's been that long. He goes, all right. He's like, it's okay. I'll step you through it. Let's just go through it slowly. And then I burst into tears. I don't even know what made me cry. I just started crying and crying and crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know, but this is really hard for me. And this happened and that happened. Then I started telling him about all the new agey stuff and all the books. And then he goes, okay. He's like, you need to get that stuff out of your house. And then he goes, I think you should really look into getting your house blessed as well. It's like he's saying, I'm not saying that there's anything in your house, but you should really look into that. But he's like, okay, I'll do it. All right. He's like, it's okay. He's like trying to get through all the subs. It's like, it's okay. It's, let's just step through it. And I was telling him the books and the cards and the domino looking things and the everything. And he's just like, okay. He's like, all right. And then, he walked me through what we needed to do. We talked about a few other things. It's like, if you ever even just need to talk, is like, you can reach out to us. Just hearing that come and just, you're in the right place. Like you're doing the right thing. You've taken the right steps. I felt such a weight lifted off me. And that pull that I needed to go to confession, that was gone too. Like it just felt like the slates were clean. It's like, it's okay. Let's move forward now. What's done is done. Let's now just start taking the right steps. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I walked out of there, my nose, snot everywhere, tears, just looking a mess. And he gave me my penance and the prayers I needed to say. So I went to, the pew. And as I'm walking around on the other side of the church to kneel down and say my prayers, I look up and there's a statue of Mary that I've never seen before. Because after I had that dream where she was wearing the pink and the blue, I searched the internet, I scoured, I could not find it. But I walk into this church and there is that statue. Look exactly what was in my dream. And I'd never stepped foot in that church before. And there she was. And it's almost like she was calling me to that church. And that was confirmation of, I gave you that dream. You've now seen me here. Like you're in the right place. Wow. It just felt like it had come full circle in that moment. I thought, this is amazing.
And it felt the way it's supposed to feel,
It felt safe. Yeah. It felt right.
You felt love. You felt taken care of. You felt watched in a good way.
So much love. But I was still battling of that feeling of I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And it took a long time for me to let go of that. So,
Yeah, well, that's the enemy working on you too. The enemy wants you feeling that way, wants you feeling so guilty you can't go into the confessional because there's such power in there. It's just the most overlooked sacrament. It is just so overlooked. Like, it's one of those things you go, no, I'm good. No, you're not. No, you're not. I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but it's like spigots to me. It was spigots. It was just the blessing spigots got turned on, both of them, full bore.
so true. Yep. And it would have been probably about 15, maybe 20 years from when I had my last confession, just the release that you feel after you've made your confession. I just felt like a whole new person, whole new person.
Well, had you gotten rid of the New Age stuff yet?
The New Age stuff, sorry, yes, I skipped that part. Yes, the New Age stuff was gone, out of the house. I got rid of all of that, got rid of every single thing, boxed it all up. And what I did, I didn't just chuck it out in the bin in my house. Oh, no, Trapper. I went to some random suburb of like a petrol station, a filling station, and I dumped it in the dumpsters there. I wanted that stuff far away from me, so far. It could not be further away. So got rid of it, out of the house, gone. It did start to feel lighter, but there was still a bit of a heaviness. The activity stopped.
Had you stopped drinking?
Stopped drinking. I know at this point, stopped drinking. Everything had stopped. I cut it all out. Once that big major incident happened with the knocking, I stopped drinking. Completely stopped drinking. The priest came out. He was amazing. He blessed this house. My daughter was here. My husband was here. And we got the house blessed. It has never felt better. I'm telling you that next day after he had been here, even my husband was like, I have not slept that good in a very long time. I was like, yep, that's my confirmation that whatever was here is now gone. And we're okay now. It's just been so good. The house feels really light. That friction that I explained to you before between my husband and I, that's gone. We're doing so much better. My daughter, she's a very happy girl. God love her. And she's so in love with God. She when she hears the chimes to your podcast, she goes, "Oh, Mommy, you're listening to the Amen Show." I said, "Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're listening."
The Amen
She
Show.
calls it she calls it the Amen Show. Oh, and I think after when I started back on this journey, I felt really bad because I did sort of ignore her when she first told me. So so I'm praying the rosary every day, blessing the house. We're saying our prayers and all that stuff. And one morning she wakes up, she goes, "Oh, Mommy, Jesus and Mary came to my room last night." I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay." And I just thought it was child talk, so I ignored her. And she said it again. "Mommy, Jesus and Mary came into my room last night." I was like, "Really? Oh, that's so lovely. That's so nice." And I did it again. She took her 3 attempts, poor thing. I felt so horrible. Anyway, and then she said it again. "Mom, Jesus and Mary came into my room last night." I said, "Okay." I sat her down and I said, "Tell me all about it." I said, "What did they say?" She goes, "They said," what did she say? Oh gosh, I should have written it down. I think she said they just came to visit me. They just came to say hi and see that I'm okay. I thought, oh, that's so beautiful. And I said, "Were they nice?" She goes, "Yes, Mommy, they're very nice and very pretty." I said, "Oh, that's so good." I said, "I love it. I absolutely love it." And I said, "You know what? When we say our prayers tonight, we're going to thank them for coming to visit you, okay?" She said, "Okay."
Look how far you've come.
And here we are today.
Look how far you've come. I mean, really, that's quite a journey you got there.
Oh my goodness, is it ever? Yeah.
I mean, you've gone through
Wow.
some light and dark and light, and boy, you've had all kinds of stuff, but they sure let you know that there is a good, there is an evil, and there sure is a difference.
And I didn't even know that it was evil. It just came in with such an allure of just, it felt like curiosity. Oh, and that feeling that I was telling, that tornado feeling, gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Never came back. Never understood it. Just gone.
Chaos.
Yeah. It's about the quality of time that you're spending with God and the effort you're making in building that relationship with Him. He wants to get to know you. It's about coming back to Him and, just learn His word, spend time in His word, meditate on His word. You've gone to confession. You've let that be, like, you've released it to Him. He's forgiven you. Accept that forgiveness and now move forward.
What's your takeaway?
My takeaway is the gospel reading from the last weekend, hoping that you guys had the same one. The Good Shepherd about that is my takeaway, because I am that one sheep that was lost. And I was at the 99. They were all safe and happy, hunky dory. I was the one sheep that was lost. But even though I was lost and I felt so alone, God always knew where I was.
We feel
He
alone and we
always,
feel unworthy, and he comes and gets
so much
us.
so.
Yeah.
He came, and boy, did he come and scoop me up, and he got me. And he always knew where I was. I felt like I didn't feel worthy of even being saved. I didn't feel worthy of coming back into the fold. I partially probably still battled with that, but he deems me worthy, and that's enough. That's enough. I accept that.
You also prove that it's never too late.
It's never too late. It is never too late. You are never too far gone. He can still come and get you.
Amen. We're going to leave it there. I'm going to go get dinner. You're going to go get breakfast or something.
I'm going to go log in for work. I need to do my work now.
Go get your work done. Thank you for this. God bless you for this.
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. And I mean that so wholehearted and genuinely. It's just, you saved me. You are a big part of this journey, Trapper. Honestly speaking, if it wasn't for your podcast, I would not have gone looking for that miraculous medal. I wouldn't have dug up a rosary, which I still have, by the way. And I look at it every day going, that was the beginning of this journey. That rosary, I prayed it so hard, it's falling apart. You brought me back. You educated me. And it's sad that Catholicism is it just feels so dry. It felt so boring, that you brought back the light. You shone the light back on there for me, that you made me want to go back. And I'm so grateful for you and the work that you do, and your family, your wife, all of you. You helped save me. And I'm so appreciative. I could cry because it really just means that much to me. You really played a very big role in bringing me back. And I thank God for you and your work every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you for confirming why we do what we do, and why God sent me you. He sent me you, and he sent me to you and you to me.
Yeah. And I'm glad. Hopefully my story can inspire somebody to go to confession or get their house blessed or something. Hopefully, yeah. I will let you go. Go eat now. Thank you. You can go eat now.
With our 14-hour difference to Sydney, Australia. But yeah, my takeaway out of this is I didn't even know that it was evil. She said that towards the end. I didn't even know that it was evil because it looks bright and shiny. That's called, I Guess the Lord Must Be in New York City. I'm so tired of getting nowhere, seeing my prayers going unanswered. I guess the Lord must be in New York City. Well, here I am, Lord, knocking at your back door. Ain't it wonderful to be where I've always wanted to be? For the first time, I'll breathe free. Here in New York City, I have found it. It looks enlightened, and it's so dark, and it's anything but God. It just keeps taking you farther and farther away. And this topic comes up a lot, as I've said before, and it's not preached all that much and perhaps should be a bit more. As a matter of fact, though, I'm going to put a link into the show notes of such a powerful 30-minute talk by Bishop Robert Barron, who spoke about this, but a lot more about the things we invite into our homes, things that we put on walls and put on bureaus, and we need to know what they are and if they're having an influence in our daily lives. Bishop Barron doesn't talk a lot about the supernatural, but he delves into the dark side of the supernatural in this 30-minute talk. And again, it's in the show notes. Listen to it. It got us thinking. It got us thinking about things too, about what's in the house and what we invite into our homes. And we're totally oblivious to it. So make sure you take a watch of that YouTube video. Okay. All right. Now then, what is your story? Let me know here at touchedbyheaven.net. Thanks for the Patreon help. If this show is a blessing to you, thank you for blessing us with your support through Patreon. Patreon.com, or come here to this episode 369 here at touchedbyheaven.net. All right, see you next week here at Touched by Heaven. Everyday encounters with God. I'm Trapper Jack. Should I stay or should I go?
You have got to go. Gotta go.